Hi, my name is Marius, and this is Learn Norwegian Now, a YouTube channel for learning and exploring the exquisitely beautiful Norwegian language. In this episode, we'll look more closely at the word det and how it's used as a pronoun and as a placeholder. We'll not look at its uses as a determiner. So, det is often translated as it in English, but this is not always adequate. So in this episode, we'll explore further the different usages of det. Let's start. Usage 1. Pronoun for single non-human nouns. So det and den are often translated to it in English. For example, en vakker kjole selges I butikken. Hvor mye koster den? And the den refers back to en vakker kjole. So translated into English, this becomes a beautiful dress is sold in the store. How much does it cost? So the it in this translation also refers back to a beautiful dress. So in this case, it is a good translation of den. And similarly, in the second example, et vakkert skjørt selges I butikken. Hvor mye koster det? And that is vakkert skjørt. A beautiful skirt is sold in the store. How much does it cost? And the it refers back to a beautiful skirt. So what's the difference between den and det? Well, they are both Norwegian pronouns, singular pronouns. So the den is used with masculine and feminine nouns. For example, en bil and ei seng. So if you want to refer back to en bil and ei seng with a pronoun, you have to use den. And similarly, det is used with neuter nouns. For example, et kart. So if you want to refer back to et kart, a neuter noun, you have to use det. So how can you remember which pronoun to use, den or det? Well, I suggest you use the last consonant to remember them. So den ends with an N and is always masculine and feminine. So masculine and feminine also ends with an N sound. While det is always neuter. So det ends with a T and neuter ends with a T sound. So it's very important that you actually don't pronounce the T in det. It's pronounced det and not det. So you should not pronounce the T at the end of det. Now let's look at usage 2. Pronoun for noun phrase. In English, that. So det can be used to replace whole noun phrases. For example, å være eller ikke, det spørsmålet. And the det refers back to å være eller ikke. And in English, to be or not to be, that is the question. And the that, of course, refers back to be or not to be. And in the second example, at du kunne ro så langt, det hadde jeg aldri trodd. And the det refers to at du kunne ro så langt. The English translation, that you could row so far, that I would never have thought. Usage 3. Det with verbs of perception and meteorological verbs. So in Norwegian, it's very normal to use det as a placeholder for the subject when talking about weather. So, for example, det snør ute can translate to it is snowing outside. So in this case, you can translate det to it in English. And the same with a verb of perception, which is used quite similarly in English. Det bråker så fælt her. It is so noisy here. And usage 4. with infinitive construction and at clauses. Det moro å arbeide, which translates to it is fun to work. So in this case, det is just a placeholder for the subject. So it doesn't refer back to anything. It's just there as a placeholder. So the real information is actually moro å arbeide. So it just makes it grammatical. Just like in the English case, it functions as a placeholder. And the same for the second example. Det var fint at du kunne komme. It was good that you could come. So just a warning or just something to be conscious of. These sentences are rather formal. So if you want to make them more informal, you could say å arbeide, det moro. To work, that is fun. So in this case, det actually refers back to å arbeide. And in the second example, at du kunne komme, det var fint. That you could come, that was good. And this det also refers back to at du kunne komme. But as you can see, these more informal versions mean the same as the rather more formal ones in the first two examples. Usage 5. Det to introduce cleft sentences. So just to explain what cleft sentences are. They are, in Norwegian, introduced by det plus the subject plus at or som plus a direct object. In English, it plus subject plus that plus direct object. So let's take a look at the examples. Det var jeg som drepte mannen. It was I who killed the man. So as you can see, these cleft sentences put a lot of emphasis on the subject of the sentence. So it puts a lot of emphasis on the jeg in the sentence. Det var jeg som drepte mannen. So these cleft sentences are used to emphasize the subject. But the det doesn't mean anything. It doesn't refer back to anything. It's just there to put extra emphasis on jeg. And similarly with the second example, det var I biblioteket at liket ble funnet. It was in the library that the body was found. And as you can see, you don't actually need the at for the sentence to be grammatical. Just like in English, that is optional. So you can say, det var I biblioteket liket ble funnet. Usage 6. In existential sentences. In English, there is or there are. So, for example, det mange sauer I Norge. There are many sheep in Norway. Det vokser et tre I hagen. A tree grows in the garden. Det en katt I huset. There is a cat in the house. So in English, you have to choose between there is or there are, as the verb has to agree with the noun. So for example, many sheep, right? There are many sheep in Norway. And sheep refers to a lot, plural. So you have to write there are. In Norwegian, you don't have this distinction between singular and plural nouns with existential sentences. So it's det in all three cases. So for example, it would be det vokser ett tre I hagen and det vokser mange tre I hagen. So even if you change the noun to plural, the det vokser is the same. So you don't have to change the verb as you have to do in English. Usage 7. To refer to some noun neuter noun phrases. So for example, pannekaker, det sunt. Pancakes are good for you. So in this case, det refers back to pannekaker. And even though en pannekake is a masculine noun, in this case, pannekaker is seen as a unity, like a mass noun in this particular phrase. You don't look at all the individual pancakes together. It's more like a heap of pancakes. So then you use det to refer back to this heap of pancakes. And similarly to jeg trenger en hammer og ei sag. Det kan du få låne av meg. I need a hammer and a saw. A literal translation of the second one, det kan du få låne av meg, would be that you can borrow from me. But a more natural translation in English would be you can borrow that from me. So in this case, the det refers back to en hammer og ei sag. A masculine noun, en hammer, and a feminine noun, ei sag. But similarly to pancakes, en hammer og ei sag, the two nouns, are seen more as a unity. So the det refers back to a hammer or ei sag as a unity. And let's move on to Batman. Batman har en søt kjæreste. Det vil Robin også ha. Batman has a cute girlfriend. Robin wants one too. So it's interesting that det in this case refers to a girlfriend in general, not to a particular girlfriend, not to Batman's cute girlfriend, but just a girlfriend in general. So Robin wants a girlfriend. But in the second example, if we write Batman har en søt kjæreste, henne vil Robin ha. Batman has a cute girlfriend. Robin wants her. So if you write henne in this case, it actually means that Robin wants Batman's cute girlfriend. But if you write det, it means a girlfriend in general. So it's very important to use the right pronoun. Usage 8 in impersonal passives. So in Norwegian, you can form a special passive construction by det plus the verb in infinitive minus the r and plus the s. So that means that det arbeider minus the r, so det arbeider, plus an s, det arbeides. And let's look at the example. Det arbeides mye, which roughly translates to a lot of work is going on. And in the second example, det dyrkes poteter på jern. Potatoes are grown in jern. So in this case, the det doesn't refer back to anything, but it's part of forming a passive construction. It's a grammatical construction. Usage 9. Occasionally translated in English as so. So for example, la oss håpe det, let's hope so. And this is especially used in combination with også, or to in English. Han pen, og det hun også. He's good looking, and so is she. So this is a classic example that det isn't always translated as it in English. It's used differently in Norwegian compared to English. Usage 10. Subject to refer to a person identified by subject complement. So, det huset mitt, det boka mi, det faren min. Which translates to, that is my house, that is my book, that is my dad. So this one can be used to point out something or someone for someone else. So if you want to show someone where your father is and point him out, you can say, det faren min. And in such cases, you should use det. Usage 11, to refer back to verb phrases. So for example, jeg vil danse, men det, that is danse, vil ikke du. I want to dance, but you don't. So in this case, det refers back to danse, a verb phrase. And it's the same with the second example, la oss gå hjem. Hvorfor det? And the det in this example refers to gå hjem. Let's go home. Why? Or why so? Usage 12, the last usage I'm going to show in this video. And that is to refer back to an adjective phrase. For example, han rask, men det ikke hun. He's fast, but she's not. And the det refers back to the adjective rask. Vennlig og snill, det du I hvert fall ikke. Friendly and kind, that you're not. So the det refers back to the adjectives vennlig og snill. Here is a summary of all of the usages that I've shown in this video. And as a last point, I want to show you how you can learn them and remember them by using Anki. So first you want to follow the guide by Fluent Forever on how to download Anki and get the suitable decks that we are going to use now. So just follow this guide. I will link to it in the description below. So just check the description and you'll find a link to how to download Anki and get the deck you need. Alright, so let's start by creating a deck. Let's call it for Norwegian Grammar. Click on it. Click add. And as you see, I have the all-purpose card, but yours will probably look like this in the beginning. But you've downloaded the decks from Fluent Forever, so we should change to the third one here, all-purpose card. Click on it, and it looks something like this. So what we want to do now is go back here and add all of these examples so that we can learn them much faster. So we'll just copy paste and then we'll remove this one and then we'll copy paste it in this one, this space, the full sentence. And this is the full sentence. And then we'll want to focus on the words that we are learning in this video, which is det and den. So we'll change den, take it out, write it in this box, and add a picture. So we'll just search for beautiful dress. Go on Google Images, find a suitable dress, for example this one, and drag it over here in picture. So the picture just makes it easier to remember. So it's nice to just have here as a way of learning these things more easily, and it also makes the deck more fun. So okay, we have all the information we need. Click add, and then do it with all of the examples that I've shown you. And we can take a look at how it looks. Study now. And then you get the sentence and you have to decide which word is going in this blank space here. And of course we know that it's den because it refers back to en vakker kjole, a masculine noun. Brilliant. So that's it. Good luck learning den and der. Bye bye.